The Powers Project.
Hello, friends. You've been hearing me talk about intake breathing for quite a while now. And so today I thought I'd show you what it's all about. So it comes in this nice little compartment here with the nose tabs and with the magnetic strip that goes over the top. And this little thing here connects the tabs put on your nose. Now, what I'm going to do is I will end up editing this because I don't have a mirror in front of me. So when I come back, you're going to see the little tabs. So what I'll do, I'll show you here. So we'll take these tabs out like this. And so what you do is you take this little thing that has a magnet on the end and you bring it up like that. And there is your tab. Okay. And then what you do is you put it on your nose. Actually, I put it this way. You put one on this side and then you put one on this side, and then the magnetic strip goes across. And what you'll find is that it works immediately. As soon as you put that strip across, it pulls your nasal passage, the nose open so that you can breathe more. And as you're going to find with this episode that I did with Carice, that in order to obtain better health, we need to breathe through our nose. And this is the thing that will do that. The reason why I love this product is because it eliminated my snoring problem that I had. And it also obviously helps me with my athletic performance when I'm lifting weights and when I'm doing my stationary bike. It's amazing. You just it gives you more energy. And like I've said before, when I'm lifting weights, when I have this on, I'm doing 2 extra reps than when I don't. You wouldn't think it would make that big of a difference, but it really does. And the wonderful thing I love about this is the people who are part of intake breathing, Alex and Natalie, they're just great people and they offer a money back guarantee. If it doesn't work for you for whatever reason, they will gladly return your money. They're just a great company. They're great people, and this is a great product. So I'll be right back with the little tabs on, and then I'll put the magnetic strip on, and you'll see what it looks like. Okay, and we're back. So as you can see, I have the little tabs on my nose, and the two things I need to show you. One is that when you pick up this tab, you'll notice these little white tabs, the little that are on the back of it, and those peel off and then they stick to your nose. Before you do that, however, step I forgot is you're going to want to, and this comes with everything you need. So this is a little alcohol wipe. You just take this off and open this up, wipe your nose off before you stick these on, okay? And then it's this easy. So you can see the way my nose looks now. Good thing I cleaned all the hair out of there. And you can see how it opens it up immediately. And this just keeps you from breathing through your mouth in the night, and therefore you don't need to snore any longer. And I know if you have a special somebody you sleep with, they're going to appreciate that. So now, as before, you can go over to intakebreathing.com and you can apply the promo code POWERS and you can get 20% off your order. So, like I said, there's nothing to lose and everything to gain because you have a money back guarantee. And Natalie and Alex are just two of the greatest people you'd ever want to meet. Two really super nice people. And they stand behind their product, and it's easy because it's a great product. So, go over to intakebreathing.com, use the promo code POWERS, get your 20% off your order, and you'll be happy. And so will your partner. All right. All right. 1, 3, 2, 1. So V, you're a human rights author, and we were discussing the having honest debate about topics that are important to us, and that too often nowadays, when we watch debates, there isn't that honesty. You have two people who are being disingenuous at both, or one person that's being disingenuous just to push their point to win the argument, but they know that what they're saying isn't true. And what we want to accomplish here today, because we will agree on a lot of things, but there's going to be a few things that we won't agree on. But we've made a promise to
keep it true and in our debate and the facts that we state, and not just say something for the sake of winning an argument, because as I said to you earlier, that doesn't accomplish anything except more division, because people who listen, people who view will go, yeah, that wasn't true and you said that just to win an argument. So I know that won't be an issue for us today.
No.
So I'm looking forward to our discussion. Like I said, you're a human rights author, and what I'd like to talk to you today about, I guess to start off, is what do you see as the three biggest threats to human rights across the globe?
Alors, in fact, three biggest threats I would have to think. For me, what comes to mind right now, it's the environmental. What is coming to us environmentally. Uh, because it's global, because it's bigger than us, and also it's what I think we've lost a bit in mind is that we know that human being always has been like that philosophically and religiously, that mostly they think that nature is for them to take, and
Mhm.
it's what they done. It's what you can see in Europe. Europe used to be, covered with forest. The forests are gone. Now it's the turn of Brazil and so forth. But the only thing that I think we might have lost, we don't really grasp it every day, is that we've lived thousands of years like exploiting nature, like killing animals, and like in order to grow population and this race to conquer new territories and just log and empty them. But what is happening right now is that after the revolution in industrialization and so forth, it is not so many years that we are attacking nature the way we are attacking it. I think there's maybe uh, a false comfort thinking, oh, but it's always been like this. The Christian thinks that nature belongs to them and it has been given by God to them and so forth. So it's an old story, yeah. But the way we have been plundering this the earth, the way we are doing it right now, it's new. And it's why the big debates about climate warming, it's a true reality. We know it's going to be cataclysmic. It's going to be a cataclysm after cataclysm. But also, it is true that we all know it as well. But this pouring of kilos and kilos and kilos and kilos of plastic you had a good podcast, by the way, of a lady who came to explain how water got poisoned by the chemical they were using in our industry.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Tennis pro you had on the pod, and it's exactly that. Is that uh, um, the way it's gonna be exploding is gonna be, no one can imagine the real effect of what we already did and what we are doing, especially on this planet. But through consumption, through industrialization, through okay, Europe have lost their forest, but there's still Brazil, they're still in China, in Asia. There are still these hundreds of kilometers of jungles that were still untouched. Though they are big mammals, already they are gone. like tigers in China, they are gone. It's things of the past and so forth. Monkey, they are not. But we are losing our big mammals one by one. Yeah, and to be honest, I think is this. Now I've got so that's another answer. Is there's three topics that I write about on my blog, and it's three main topics because they they are still underrepresented very much on the mass media, and one is veganism. And the one reason why I pointed to veganism is many people love animals, and if the people don't love animals, usually is because they don't have opportunity to meet them, because they have been born in a city, and in the city, in some cities there's no trees. The countryside is dozen of kilometers away, and the only animals you can see at hand is animals that are farmed animals, and you can't approach, and you know about their fate and so forth. So there's a big disconnection with some people. But what I want to say is that I think there is the disconnection is so big that there's people who love animals, and though that they know they love animals, some very much, they still eat animals
Okay.
out of habit or out of yeah, the
All right. So let me do this.
cultural.
Let me stop you just for a second because that's an entirely different topic that I want to talk about. But let's get
Oh,
back
yep,
to the environment that you're
yep.
talking about. So, I think part of the challenge is that we have two um, difference of thoughts. One is that people will say, we you're it's hard to get people behind the environment and global warming stuff when they're more concerned with putting food on their table. That's one thing. My argument would be, well, you might end up destroying the environment so you can put food on the table, but for how long before the environment comes
Oh
back
yeah,
and bites you in
no,
the
it's a
ass?
false.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a.
um, but in saying that, it's when you come from a place of privilege, as the United States does, it's very easy for us to tell people in Brazil, don't destroy the rainforest
Mm,
because it's destroying the planet.
mm,
But when people who are poor in Brazil go, look, this is a way that we can make money by letting industry come down here and plant these trees that they use palm oil and everything, and
mm,
and we can plant those and destroy the rainforest and make a ton of money. How can It's almost like they're sitting there and they're saying, how can you tell us not to exploit this when you've done it your entire life, when the United States
mm,
continues to do it? So
yeah.
at some point, the leaders of the countries have to come together and go, that we have to control industry. We have to be able to be smarter about it. And I believe, that we see this with fisheries now, that we don't allow, we don't allow fishing to the point of extinction of certain fish, or we have to replant trees when we cut trees down. I think that
Mm,
those are steps in the right direction, and we need to continue down that path.
mm.
What I wanted to ask you is, with all that being said, does the real problem come down to overpopulation of humans then? Is that we just have too many people on this planet and therefore we have to exploit, our natural resources and our, our minerals and everything else that we have? Do we just exploit them to the extent because we have too many people on the earth?
Yeah, but it's like kind of a circle, because if human beings think that everything here on this planet is food for them, it is linked to overpopulation, because basically the game is plus with unhealthy competition and so forth, because it's so it's uh, we are in a system that is so idiot and imbecile, is that I am sure there is people who think, why would I care about my own country? Because if I start caring about my own country, well, it will be good for to take, So what I can take, it's like, if I'm on it first, then it's gonna be for me. It's not gonna be a good I will have to protect, or I will have to legislate or something like this. Uh, t- to answer for the food in the system where we are in a big precarious situation, where we know that food security is gonna be certainly one of the big catastrophe that is coming to us, because we know that previously we managed with diversity of grains, and so if you had mildew on the potatoes one year, you could have wheat, and you could still eat. And um, and what happened is that instead of having 10 types of wheat or 20 types of wheat grains, you only have one. On top of it, we've got big problem with patent now, that the big companies put their stamp on it, and basically peasants uh, can't sow and harvest themselves. They have to pay the big company every time they do something, for because these grains are patented uh, to a gross level, because what is happening is that the grain are kind of invasive. So basically, you just want your grain. It's your grain is it's not patent on it. Is something like a traditional grain, and you want it on your patch. But there's a big or another a peasant that had this special grain that are patented by a big company, and at one point in your patch there will be this special wheat, patented wheat, because it's like that. It's the wheat that is an invasive species, basically. Yeah. So you can't keep your grain, and the guy of a big company is gonna come to you and say, I know what you've got on your patch. On your patch, what is growing is migraine. So you will have to pay to me. So anyhow, so there is what is happening is one of cataclysms is the disappearance of nature, and is disappearance of disappearance of species, and among them the grains we eat. That is to say, one disease, one epidemic on those on rice, on wheat, on corn, on soya, and is possible that famine would be the price for it. Yeah. So the food security in our system, it's really no good, right? Really no good.
Well, they're going to have to figure something out, because I know small farmers, for instance, like you said, that grain that's patented is invasive, and so it gets into other farmlands, and then they come around and say, "Oh, you're growing our grain,"
Mhm.
and there's going to have to be a law passed saying, if by chance, because of wind or whatever, your grain blows onto ours, and it ends up growing your grain, that's on you. That's not on us. And it there's going to have to be something legally that's fair, and I don't know that it will, because I know big
Ouais.
corporations tend to get their way when it comes
Ouais.
to our court system. So, but it needs to be addressed, and I thank you for bringing it up, because people need to be aware of that does indeed happen to the farmers, and all. I'm not sure about how it is in France or how it is in Germany, but I know here in the United States that it's a problem for smaller farmers, and that they're being wiped out because of things like this where they can't compete, and it's unfortunate. And so you, like you said, you're going to have two or three major corporations who control all the food in this country.
Yeah,
Oh,
Monsanto. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm. I've heard. Bon, it's been a while now. We heard about a modification, genetically modify and so forth. But it's a woman that is from Himalaya, and she's spreading the word. And apparently, so it Monsanto and also Microsoft would have like is waiting on it. So uh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
no, that's okay. No, so we've addressed that the number one issue you believe is the environment and
Mm.
how we treat it, how we exploit it, and how we don't take care of it.
Yes, and now it's gonna be exploding because of the poison. I mean, we have everything. We have climate change. We are poisoning everything, and the species are disappearing. So yes, we know that we will have climate refugees by the thousands, but refugees are already a big problem that we are not very much aware in Europe, and maybe you in the US more, but it's more. Refugees in fact are more. Um, uh, they move within their countries, so they are refugees, but they move not through borders. They move through their countries.
Right,
So basically, the rich country, there's many debates about refugees, but in fact, it's not the rich countries, not the countries that are affected the more and that impoverish the most by refugee situation.
right. Well,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but what I've noticed in this country, even with the episode I did with Stale Bailey about the poisoning of water. Now, her, as to relate the story to people who haven't listened to that. Stale Bailey is someone who got a rare form of cancer. Her uncle got it, her father got it, her brother got it, her dog got it, and what they found was it was connected to the water that they were getting because they lived close to NASA, and NASA was using this flame retardant chemical that was getting into the water that was millions counts more than it's supposed to be. And so there were people in that area who were getting who were very similar who were getting the same cancer.
Well,
Now, if you and I lived there, if I lived in this county, I'd be up in arms. Even if I didn't get it, I'd be up in arms and go, we can get it. But what I find is that people in this country, and it may be this way across the world for all I know, unless it happens to them, they have no concern about it. They don't concern themselves with it until it happens to them or someone they love, and then all of a sudden they'll give it the attention that's needed, and then they get upset because no one else cares. It's like, but that's what you were. You were someone who didn't care until it happened to you, and now you're upset because other people aren't going to care until it happens.
the problem I think is that as soon as you get into issue concerning related to human rights, you will be submerged, completely submerged, very quickly. There's one reason is that when you start, wanting to protect yourself, to protect your groups or other groups and so forth, just for the sake of justice or for the sake of dignity of uh, um, the problem are systemic. So basically, you would start putting into question your job ethics and ethics and so forth, and we all get into, you all think, well, is dangerous. Is so dangerous. Is so dangerous that basically, when you start doing it, you understand that it's your own survival. But it's directly, immediately, not maybe immediately, because there is something like a tampon zone, a buffer zone, where you can, of course, you can find space for discussion and so forth, but yeah, even talking about poisoning, because this, in fact, is been very much in the media. For example, in the US, you've got Dupont and Dupont, I think they are called, and I don't remember the name of the poison they diluted into their rivers, and I watched a great documentary. It was on the BBC, I think, and the same as you said. One at one point they knew, so it was big factories, is DuPont and DuPont, so it's billion and billion and billion of dollars what we are talking about. And so is the guys who invented the non-stick uh, frying pan,
Right.
the chemical for the non-stick frying pan. And so the peasant, because you are here, you live near the factory, it's common sense. In fact, it's like us animal that are ready to. It's an image. Huh? I'm exaggerating, but I do that because. Sorry for this quick image, yeah, but there is people that say that animals are stupid, they are inferior to us, because look, they are in their meadow, they eat, they don't care about what is, they don't even understand, they don't know they're gonna be slaughtered, yeah. And us, we are like this, and we know, like, you are in your meadow, you are living in your house, and you see this big factory, you can smell the chemical, you can understand everything, and you see with your eyes they are spilling their water, their chemicals in the river, and the only things you can do is to wonder how long it's gonna be before it's gonna explode in your face. Yes.
Yeah.
And this peasant but near Dupont is not a small company. So it's billion. It's like a world big companies. I mean, it used to be the Microsoft of there's 30 or 40 years ago or something like this. It's so huge as a company in Dupont is, yeah. And there's this guy, so a farmer next to this big factory that could see that. And yes, and his cows were dying one after one after one. And why? Because they were drinking uh, out of a river next to the factory and so forth. And so what I'm saying when this BBC documentary is that if you type it, you will find the biggest newspaper made paper about it. Yeah, it is not a conspiracy theory, or like you've got an hunch and you say maybe it's like this, and you are guessing. No, it has been proved. But for example, the chemical that are in this non-stick device for frying pan, we all have it. We all have non-stick frying pan at home, yeah? Well, it's in the blood of almost everyone on the planet. The chemical, if you take a blood sample and you look for this chemical, it's gonna be in my blood, it's gonna be in your blood, and it's gonna be basically on the blood of everyone else. Maybe safe some indigenous people well, let's hope in Brazil or some other places, yeah. And Yeah, so you are submerged because there is a very interesting it's really a shame that this lawyer, so it's a US a lawyer, and it's really a shame. He did a great film, and it's not uh, you have to pay for this to watch this film. It is called Crude Oil, and it's unbelievable work he did. This guy, he should um, I will find the name of a big company. It takes Chevron.
Ravana.
Yeah, so Chevron is a big company, a oil company, and who extracted oil in South America. And so this lawyer, they proved that what they were doing just to cut costs instead of doing things proper. They were living, so they were cutting costs just for the sake of cutting costs, and with cutting costs they were spilling well tons of oils in the Amazonian forest. And it was easy to prove because I, indigenous people were sick like crazy. There was big patches of jungle that were poisoned to death, and you could find a slick of oil, yeah. And at the end of this documentary, it's a big story, and so same you can find it in every big newspaper. They wrote about it, and I don't remember exactly the big international court. I think it was a UN court. Basically, I have to, because this is one of my old read, but it was a very lengthy process, and so it's I think it's in before UN court, anyhow, big international court, and all of these kind of trial, yeah, you could they film lorries of papers that went before the judges, lorries for the judges of files, for the judges to read through and decide who did what, yeah, and well, successfully, famously, yet again, after years and years and years of risk, because these people, they take risk, they spend all their money, they spend all their time. They might, you've got the choice of, oh, maybe you work for corporation and you manage to live comfortably, or you work against corporation, and maybe it's the door to poverty for you, yeah. And not humble, people who volunteer and try to make their best but still have got a living. Not this one, yeah. It might be the door to dire poverty for whistleblowers and so forth, yeah. And famously, this court in front of the UN um, with all the proof they had and so forth, just it came to nothing. And
Well,
it's usually it's these travesties of justice, where from time to time there's a victim, uh, like I am sorry, yeah, but and I know it's I've got to make sure I don't I say it properly, because for example, what uh, happened to people who are victim of violence by the police, yeah.
okay, so
This is
go ahead and make your point, but we're get so here's the thing. When we talk, you're going to have to take breaks because we have to address certain things that you say, and I'm not going to remember all those things. So
Yeah.
you've gone over a lot of stuff in the past 15 minutes. I'm going to do my best to address each one of those. But before we get into the police thing, let's go back and let's address some of the things that you said. One, you're saying that that people
Eh,
look at animals and they say, oh, they're
fine.
not smart enough, they don't know that they're being killed or eaten or whatever, and then we do the same, we have the same behavior. And I agree with that. We do have the same behavior, not because intellectually we don't understand it. I think we become numbed because we've been inundated with news 24 hours a day, with one tragedy after another, and we've gotten into this mindset. And I think we've always, to some extent, always been in this mindset, that if it's not immediate, fear is not it's not a good deterrent. Unless fear is immediate, it doesn't make people act. So for instance, I can give you a couple
Mm.
examples. People who smoke, they know that the chances of them getting lung cancer if they smoke is great. But since lung cancer doesn't happen immediately, it's not a deterrent. And that's why you have
Oh yeah, but when you smoke, you can after some years you can feel what you do to your body.
that's my
You
point.
can start feeling it. Yeah.
Right, but that's my point. It takes years before
Yeah.
it has a deadly effect on you.
Yeah, but also, it also takes culture. Because if 50 years ago cigarettes were promoted for migraines, were promoted for manhood,
Right, right.
were promoted for sociabilities and all of it, right?
Right.
And so yes, it takes the when if someone goes with a cigarette and explain to you, bon, of course we usually people start when they are young, so
Right, but that's no excuse for people today. That's one thing if someone of our generation started smoking because maybe it was, doctors had prescribed smoking for all sorts of ailments, but not since it was either the late 60s or early 70s, since the Surgeon General put a warning on the side of every cigarette pack out there that this may cause lung cancer. We can't claim ignorance to that anymore. So the science has shown that you smoke, you increase your risk of getting lung cancer. There's no doubt about it. So these younger generations who continue to smoke aren't smoking because they're not aware of the dangers. They're completely aware of the dangers. They don't care because those dangers are not immediate. And it's sort of like humans, like men are notorious for this. We don't go to the doctor because if we don't go to the doctor, then there can't be anything wrong. If we go to the doctor and the doctor goes, "Oh, this you have high blood pressure," now there's something wrong. I didn't have high blood pressure until I went to the doctor. That's their thinking. It's flawed thinking, mind you, but that's how they think. And so when it comes to when it comes to like even the water issue of our water being poisoned, we famously had Erin Brockovich in her movie and about the water poisoning there. We have Flint, Michigan, but as we noted with stale bailing, this is worldwide, and in particular in this country, we have a huge problem. Flint, Michigan is just the tip of the iceberg of what's going on with our water systems in this country. But people this to go, yep, it doesn't affect me, and they believe that if they stay ignorant to things, then it won't affect them. Until the problem with that kind of thinking is that it's going to affect you, but when you find out about it, it's going to be too late. When you finally go to the doctor and you realize that you have cancer, and had you come in sooner, they could have probably saved you, but now it's to the extent to where there's nothing that can be done, and that's
but
unfortunate.
I am not saying it's all of that, but I think that this kind of behavior and, let's say, philosophy of attitude to life is also fueled by fear. There,
Of course, yeah.
there is people who smoke thinking that they won't have to live when they will be retired with like minimum wages and instead and and a worst kind of retirement. And I think that people start to tremble for their future, yeah, because there is possibility of worse unemployment to the door. The retirement scheme, it's not the same in the US, yeah, but there's big poverty in the US, so there's bound to be people who think, whether I might die from cancer, but at least what I'm gonna do when I will be 70, 80, 90,
Right.
with less and less money and to
Well,
live with, yeah.
I don't want
Um,
to get into that too much because that comes down to a mindset. And I understand what you're saying, and I agree that there are many people who have that mindset. It's unfortunate.
I don't think it's a mindset. I
It's
think is
absolutely
there. If it's your if it's your fate to be
it's not your
to
faith.
have
You don't believe in
to
fate.
have no money, and that the future for you is to have less,
That's
then naturally the
that's not fate. That is by design, by your own design. If you believe that you're supposed to be in poverty, then you're going to be in poverty. And no,
no, but if you can't find a job,
you
if
can't.
you can't,
Look, I'm going to tell you something.
there's such things as unemployment, yeah,
What do you say?
forced unemployment.
There is.
There's such a thing with people that are being completely conned by bankers and by societies at large, and by
I absolutely agree with any of that.
under debt more than it's human to be in.
Okay,
And
so
for example,
I'm going to push back on this because I had a guest on. He's a best-selling author. His name is Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. He wrote a book several years ago. He's written a few bestsellers, and one of the books he wrote was Think and Grow Rich: A Black Choice. And what it does is it relates to certain people that he has in his book that that tells the stories of these people who overcame these obstacles to become successful. There's no one on this earth today. I'll say almost no one, because I'm sure somebody out there will sit there and go, yes, I have it worse. But there are few people on this planet today, especially in this country, who can go and tell me that they had it worse than someone like Madam C.J. Walker, who was born right after slavery had ended. Her parents were kicked off the plantation. They didn't have a dime to their name. She was not only black, she was a woman, and she became a millionaire. So, and there was extreme unemployment for, in particular, for blacks. And
yeah, but the problem, Kurt, is that when you say that is kind of make money the key of everything and the
no, it's
success
not.
and the
It's not about.
if there's millionaire, Kurt, there's only one reason when there's millionaire is because there are
You're
people
taking,
that are exploited to their bone
okay, you're
for this extra capitalization of riches
right.
to
Talking about millionaires. Even though she became a millionaire, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that if you can have a black woman who, in the late 1800s,
but there's black elites, huh?
wait. In order,
Yeah, there always been, huh?
what's that?
There's elites in all ethnies. Black is the whole continent of Africa for a
Right,
start.
but
So
right, but the difference is that amongst homogeneous societies, they don't experience the prejudices that you experience in a heterogeneous society, which is what they were in a white country. And you have on top of so all of a sudden being black and being a woman is a negative. It's not. It certainly isn't a positive. It's not even neutral. It becomes a negative. So
So what
wait,
about
wait,
people that are suffering all their life and that undernourished and so forth? Yes.
so
What about hundreds and thousands of them, but they are thrown
all right,
into prison when they are not guilty of everything for some
exactly.
and
That's exactly what happens, and that adds to my point. So I need you, in order for this conversation to make sense, both of us have to have a chance to talk. Okay. So with that
mm,
said, it's not about her becoming a millionaire. It's the fact that she did become a millionaire, and if she can become a millionaire, I find it very difficult to believe that the majority of people out there can't just make a living. I'm not asking them to be a millionaire. They don't have to be a millionaire to be successful. They can make a
I
living.
don't think you live in. I don't think you saw the reality of many people than Kurt, because there is so many pockets of the population and of situation and of circumstantial
Right.
where people can't make money, and they work. We know that in the US they work 3 jobs and they are still under the line of poverty. What do you want them to do?
Change their mindset. That's exactly my point, because I'm telling you that they have a mindset of
Maybe poison water
no.
could bring them more money more instantly. That is for sure.
That's not.
Because what
Wait. In order for this to remain civil and to have a
mm,
discussion, let's not go to extremes. I'm telling you that when people
uh,
change their minds, I have seen it firsthand. I am living proof of firsthand of changing my mindset, of growing up and being taught and believed that because I was raised in the projects, that that's where I was supposed to be, that was my fate. I didn't buy into that. Unfortunately, many people do buy into it. And I'm saying when you decide whatever you believe becomes your reality. And I know that, and I know this is going to sound simplistic, but it is. But simplistic, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy to change your mindset. It's as easy as you're going to make it or as hard as you're going to make it, but it can be done. So when we just buy into I'm a victim, then we remain a victim.
but just to answer directly your own example, talking about a black woman, it
Mhm.
happens, Kurt, that you are quite a big man and a white one. So
Right.
your own experience shouldn't be illustrating
Wait a second. Okay, because you don't know my whole history. So you, even though
until
yes, I'm born white and I'm born male, so that gives me certain privileges and certain advantages that others don't have. And that's why I brought up Madam C.J. Walker, because she had none of these privileges, she had none of these advantages, and yet she was still able to become successful. So if you and in a time that was probably the most difficult time for a black woman to become successful, she did it. And in this day and age, it's much easier.
Mais
Not just black women,
she
for
did it,
everyone.
Kurt, but not or I am wrong, but not in cleaning water,
What is
not by making water
no? We're you're conflating
more
you're
pure.
conflating arguments. We're talking about people who you said have a fate to be in poverty, and I don't believe in that. I believe people are where they are because they believe they're supposed to be. You change that belief, it changes your world, and it really does. We've seen it over and over and over again how that you just. But they've been indoctrinated with this nonsense that they are victims. They play the victim card because when they do that, they get they get little handouts here and there, and they want
Maybe
those
with luck.
handouts so much that they're willing to give up their life and not realize it for what little bit that they're getting, because that's better than nothing, because they don't believe in themselves. So I don't buy into this whole thing that if you're born poor,
You
that's your
you know,
fate.
I think the world, it might be viewed and it might be something else. And I'm not saying by any I've got the power of the intelligence to describe the world accurately, yes. But there is kind of what they call strats or layer, and um, uh, where there's bon, elites at every stage, and there is kind of stability and so forth. And uh, you know, in life, at one point, you might have to go with what is there, because it is like this. And there is a danger about claiming something else, because the little of what might help you to have to to stay the head out of the water is that you need this minimum. You know, it's our population is control. Is that you've got enough to have the head outside the water. If the minimum that you earn through work is gone because you try to do things differently, then you are drowning.
See, I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. It's just like, there's two jobs. There's a job that you need to do to put food on your table, and the job that you want to do, and you need to work at both of them. And you need to, and if you don't like the situation you're in, then change your situation. And the way you change your situation is by changing the belief in yourself. And that's how we get up. That's how we're going. No one is going to lift you up out of anything. The only person who can do that is you, and that you're the only person that has the power to do that. And as long as you're waiting for the government or someone else to come along and lift you up, you're never going anywhere, because they're not going to do that. And there's a saying that
No, but when I am not saying that. Yeah, I'm saying I'm taking the example of people, and we know that they are existing, and there's thousands and if not millions of people in this case in the US, and many more elsewhere. Is when you work two, one, two, three job, but in McDonald's, where they do a good job of poisoning the food, and in any case, you are paid what, six, I don't know, $6 7 an hour, I don't know, to be called 2 hours. And you know, Kurt, I would be I get what you say, yeah. I get what you say about mindset, and this is very fundamental, because uh, you know, in life, I think that I'm human enough to also have appreciated that sometimes you need luck, and you need people who gonna think, okay, bon, let's do it with you, and that the salary it happen is not for someone else, and for once is for you, and you're gonna have enough food on your table, right? But also in life, there's always an element of luck at one point, because
that's not
life
the
is
most
short.
successful people have not depended on luck. I'm not going to say there wasn't a little bit, but that wasn't the determining factor in their success.
Or unluck.
Here's what determines people who are successful from those who are not. Successful people make choices, unsuccessful people make excuses. It's that simple. And they may not like that, but that's the truth of the matter. Quit making excuses, start making choices, and your life will change. And it is that simple. Again, how easy or hard that is for you will be determined upon each individual, but that's what it comes down to. And I know
uh,
people don't like that because it puts responsibility on the individual, and we'd rather blame someone else, like a system or the government or a people or whatever, to keep us down. But the fact is, the only thing that can hold us down is ourselves. And we kind of got
But
off,
we
we
were
kind of been off
about to.
track.
There's two things. Is that we were about to debate trafficking, human
Right.
trafficking,
And so
and to prove how prevalent it is in the US and so forth. What do you say to people that are being brought down by the whole society and
okay,
that exploited next to slavery? What would you say? But this is something
same
with
thing I
a
would say to people
mindset
who were
as well. Is that even what the mindset thing is that even if you it has been used, for example, by Mandela, is that even if you are in the worst situation ever, I just watch the film, so I can say it was Invictus. I think it was.
right,
It's just the poem he was reciting, and at the end he said, "Yes, I am the captain of my soul."
right.
So even if you are in prison for something you are absolutely no reason to be in prison for, and so forth, then you've got this mindset where it is this the freedom of being creature. It's that you are still the captain of your soul. It's no one that is gonna be that.
But Nelson
Uh,
Mandela would never have gotten to where he did. He would never have succeeded to the point that he did had he remained had
He has been elected Mandela in a
but
way
fine,
as
but
well. But
yeah, he was elected because of his actions, because of what he was stood for. He didn't let anything compromise his integrity. He didn't play a victim like he could have. And because that, he enacted change. There was change in the world because of what this one man did. And because he had
oh,
the mindset that he was more than what people told him. He didn't buy into what he was told he was supposed to be. And he refused to believe that and believed in himself. And
his name is
almost all people have that ability. Almost all, not all, but almost all people have that ability. But because it takes commitment, it takes hard work. It takes sometimes doing what Nelson Mandela had to do, which was put himself in a situation where he was imprisoned. It comes down to what is your commitment to who
well, the end of apartheid is not down to Mandela either. Yeah, of course he embodied it and he has been the leader, but it's never down to one person. And okay, so why Trump has been elected then? Because he managed
because Trump spoke.
successfully to earn money that he never should have been in his pocket.
I agree with you. However, Trump,
By conning, you know about what he did in building
yes,
his
stop,
casino,
yes,
but he conned people that worked for him. He owns like thousand and thousand and thousand of dollars to people
right.
who worked for him, and he never paid them.
That's not why he was elected. He was elected because he spoke to a people who see themselves as victims, as seeing as themselves as people who are disenfranchised. And these people want to blame and again, not all of them, but I would say his hardcore followers
Or disenfranchised or unfranchised.
disenfranchised. These people believe that they've been left behind and Trump was going to come and save them because they don't realize that they're a victim of their own mentality. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. These people were looking for Trump to save them. Trump wasn't going to save them. No one's going to save them. The only one that has that ability is for themselves to do it, for them to bring themselves up and change their mindset. They don't want to. And for many of them, it's unfortunate. It's because they want to remain willfully ignorant, and that's on them. And they're
Well, they were voting for lies.
right,
Yeah, I
and
think.
right, exactly. And
Yeah.
because of that, they're always going to get conned because they don't want to see the truth. So that's on them. But it really does
Yeah,
come
but
down to mindset.
what it tells you, Curtis, that there is a word of connery out there. Yes, and if you are trapped in that,
You're not trapped.
I exactly agree. It's not even a debate, but what you said is about mindset. That is true because whatever in every day in your life, and certainly the happiest of all or the saddest of all, you have to count to rely on your own mindset, because sometimes, for example, you can assess and evaluate your own deeds, your own life, your own uh, and it's true. There is so many moments or your life. You kind of drain your boat, and sometimes you have. I think each of us has been so ridiculous and so unsuccessful doing so. And there is this old adage that you need to know yourself and so forth. So you need some kind of very strong mindset, even in order to manage to go beyond and over your own mistake and so forth. Mindset is essential. But if you find yourself at 60-year old, there is such people out there, yeah, gave everything to their communities, for example, and that are only the poorer for that, and they are 60, and there's nothing any longer they can do but to boost themselves, and I don't know, to do this for the love of God or for the love of dignity and so forth, but absolutely not about being
There are examples after examples of people who are 60 years of age and older who go on to be successful, more successful than they'd ever been in their life,
yeah,
because
of
they
course,
decided to
of
do
course,
something
of
that they
course.
loved and found what they wanted to do. So again, even at 60, and I kind of take offense to that because
I'm
that makes
talking
me
about
sound like I'm old,
poverty.
but again, it comes down to, even for the 60 or 70 or 80-year-old, it comes down to their mindset. Do you believe your life is over? Because if you do, then it's over. If you believe all you can do is sit there and in your rocking chair and collect your social security check, and that's all life has to offer you, then that's all it's going to offer you. If you have
In
life,
a way, we had the
wait, not talk over me. Wait. So
mm,
if you believe that that's all life offers you, that's all you're going to get. But if you believe you still have years ahead of you and that you can do something good in this world for yourself, for others, wherever, you can do it at any age. And to say that because you're a certain age now, all of a sudden, you're incapable of doing these things is ridiculous. It's just, again, it's playing the victim mindset. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how we got onto this topic, since we were talking about the environment. But
yeah,
let's
yeah, yeah. Me, I was talking about poverty, yes,
Okay, okay.
and the systemic and endemic poverty in people
And
that
and I
I
won't
think
disagree.
anyhow we are only starting to face, and just to say something, because I know you are a trainer and so forth, but and you are completely right. At one point, you need to do something for yourself and for others and so forth, as long as you can. But to be thinking on one rocking chair might be the most absolutely amazing adventure you can have in your life. We had the French writer and politician. I think he was prime minister. It's Malraux. It's one of our figure of World War II, if I'm correct. It was André Malraux, and André Malraux said that if he didn't control himself, he was a writer, yeah, and but he would have spent his life in his armchair, thinking in his armchair, because it's the great adventure of life. It's also about the mind and the spirit, and so meditative kind of state, and this is also human essential freedom. Is about thinking and connecting with something else than politics
So
and
I'm glad that we agree on that. So let's do this, because I know that I want to touch on this. I don't want to spend a great deal of time, even though I have a feeling we're going to spend a little bit of time on this, um, because I want to move to the other two the two challenges that or threats to the human rights across the globe. So I know that you talked about veganism, and I know that you believe that people who eat meat are that they're one of the main threats to human rights throughout the globe. So let's touch on that, and we'll
Yeah.
not delve into it completely, but we'll touch on it. Okay.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
All right. So you believe that meat eaters are a threat to human rights across the globe.
Yeah, 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 sure.
Okay.
It's human rights, of course, as we understand it, because when we say human rights, in fact, human rights, it's touching on all a kind of rights, is environmental rights and well, environmental rights and animal rights, and
Both human rights and animal rights are not the same thing because
no, yeah, yeah.
the same level.
Well, in fact, there is one thing as well is that when you talk about a right, you talk about his color. Color. Sorry. I'm bad at pronouncing some word. Um, and is what is you can't speak about rights. You can't speak about rights without speaking about duties.
Hmm.
And so yes, so human rights is when we talk about human rights, of course you can talk about the strict sense, but of course human is not the same as animal, because you humans are animals, but animals are not all humans. So but yes, it's a great meat eating is a great threat to human rights and to human duty in general, because to feel entitled to kill animals in order to feed or to have to make shoes or to is to give oneself uh, the right or the opportunity or to abuse one's power to kill someone else, and that's all. And yes, it's yes, you are right. It's a threat. It's a threat
I think
to our
I think
culture, to our humanity as yes.
I think it's careless to call it abuse. There's a difference between abusing an animal and slaughtering an animal for food, whether it's killing it through, whether it goes through the system, whether you shoot it with a bow and arrow, whether you shoot it with a gun. To kill an animal to feed yourself, I don't see anything wrong with it. I understand where you would have an issue with maybe trophy hunting, because I don't understand trophy hunting at all, other than that they claim that whatever animals being shot is a threat to that to that environment, whether it be an old bull elephant that's killing
Yeah, we
baby
claim
elephants or
everything.
something of that
Yeah.
nature. But as far as take trophy hunting out of it and just regular hunting, and people who hunt to provide food on their table, I think is more respectful than people who buy food from the grocery store, where you have cattle that's just put through the system, because they're not living in a natural environment. With that being said, I think that ethical farming and cattling is something that needs to be increased, and I think we see a movement in that happening, and I don't have a problem with that. I think that one of the issues I have with people who are vegans is the same problem I have with people who are extremely religious. They have an ideology, and it's not good enough for them to have that ideology. They feel the need to force that ideology on everyone else. As meat eaters, I've never seen a meat eater who
Everyone has an ideology.
right.
We are
But
we
here's
are
the
we
difference.
are
Wait,
creature thinking and
right. But wait, here's the difference. people who believe in meat eating don't go to vegans and say you need to eat meat. They're
They do. Enfin, they do.
uh,
Uh,
you can find
no, but you see, it's the problem is that where you boil down the situation between you and me, and you and me are in fact are almost nothing to do with it. In fact, enfin, yes, we are kind of actors, but um, the person we are talking about here is the one who is dead.
okay.
The being that we are talking about here, it is not me, it is not you, it is the being that has been killed to satisfy a need, but it is not one, because the way we are biologically is that we can be perfectly um, healthy
That's
uh,
it's
in
not.
being vegetarian.
No, that's
Yes, and in being vegan, and to choose for
okay. So
art, for culture, or cultural purpose, or political purpose, or ideological purpose, to kill a creature just for this kind of validation. Of course it is about the someone who take a life for that, but is where there is debate that sometimes can't happen at length, is because it is not between what I think of God, or what I think of my spirituality, and so forth, and what you think or what you perceive, and so forth. It's about the life of being. But as it happened, when we talk about veganism, it is not gonna me that is gonna be killed. It's not gonna you that is gonna be killed. But there's one person that will kill this animal.
okay, so I have a couple questions for you. All right, one, when we're um,
Or will eat it?
creating new vaccines and things of that nature, and they need to be tried out on animals. Are you against that? Would you prefer that these vaccines or whatever medications are being created that they be tried on humans?
You
Is that
know,
something?
where you always have to think within the system you live in. Yes,
Mhm.
you can't think in abstraction, for example, because like this, it helps you. It helps you understand why these questions are asked. And for example, it's like you put pressure on someone, saying, "Hey, there's vaccine. You saw this nasty disease, huh? Huh? But nasty disease, just to say, yeah, that is coming from a wet market, yeah. Or if it's not coming from the
Yeah,
laboratory
yeah,
in Wuhan, who
right.
happens to study bats coronaviruses in Wuhan, yeah, because there's such a laboratory in Wuhan. If it's not coming from this lab, yeah, or like China say, if it's not coming from Massachusetts, I think that the official line in China, the official
All right. Well,
uh,
let me stop you for a second because we're kind of getting off track. Because regardless of where the virus started, it's really irrelevant. Because
no, it's not. It's absolutely no, regardless. It's absolutely not, because you asked me a very precise question here. You asked me about vaccine. As it happened, we are in a big situation with vaccine today, and it's coronavirus. And as it happens again, this virus is the official WHO uh, so World Health Organization say likely to be from a wet market. Yeah. Well, Google and have a look on YouTube what a wet market in China is. Yeah, it's live animal, every kind of animal they can find in the jungle. They are posting boxes and they are waiting to be slaughtered. Yeah. Our mind is it's an image of ale. You can as well YouTube
It,
slaughterhouses in YouTube, and you can see an image of ale.
agreed.
Just
Those
no
animals,
problem.
those
It's
animals,
available. Yeah, there's no secrets.
right? But that's
So you've got this. So these viruses, and just to on a further note for viruses, most viruses right now nowadays, yeah, are coming from from animals in the same like with arms, because they are poached and in bird flu and so forth. Yeah,
right.
it's coming from from our torture. What I'm gonna say, yeah, is that, so this is a big question. Yeah. So let's let's play intense and say, you know what, how many lives we can save, yeah, with what have just been created out of torture. Yes. Now, how can we heal it by making more torture? Yeah. And no one is asking you. There is people. Yeah. uh, because we are talking about doctors, we are talking about scientists and so forth.
Mhm.
There is people suffering all over the planet that don't get any help. Yeah. If this disease, you ask me how I would do it. Yeah. As it's what I think.
Okay.
Yes.
So
That's all.
you
So
think,
I'm trying to answer you,
all right. So you
because
think that you fight
if you
you can
me,
do-
I'm against test on animals.
even if it
Yes.
saves human lives.
Yeah, it saves human life is what I'm saying, Kurt, to
No,
you. Yeah, it
I know.
saves human life, but how many lives are being killed by neglect of how many people are left to die? And then if science were actively trying to look after them, there would be how many diseases that would have been settled with care, science, research, and so forth. They are not the concert for anyone.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I will agree with you with the torture of animals, the abuse of animals that go on over in Southeast Asia, that should be stopped. I agree. Unfortunately, China has their own set of rules and are going to do what they're going to do. But
No,
science,
no, but
wait. Scientists have said that the greatest threats to viruses and bacteria that's going to be released upon the human race will come from the the polar ice caps that are melting. That there are bacteria and viruses in that
and
ice
forests.
from right exactly, and the deforestation. You're
Mm.
right. So this doesn't have anything to do with the abuse of animals. This is just from climate change happening. So if we got a virus because the ice caps melted and a virus was released in the air and humans got it, you're telling me that
You
you
know, be careful, be careful, Kurt, because at the minute, yeah, we are facing SARS. Yes, it is true. We are very lucky that this vaccine has arrived. Yes, these vaccines has arrived, but because without this vaccine, it is true that that the situation will start to be very, 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 very worrying. Yeah, as you know, there is the new strain in Brazil, new strain
okay,
in England. That are
talking
much
about
more
this
deadly
virus.
and much more easy to catch. It's a good one.
Oh yeah, but
And me, what I want to say is, don't think that we can slaughter animals on and on and on and on, like thinking that we have the right to breed them, yes, in order to slit their throat and to eat them happily and
I
playing the good man, yeah, without having a good one uh, the nature is gonna give us a good one in return. Yeah,
Okay,
don't think that is happening. Yeah.
what I'm going to say is any viruses or bacteria, and take animals out of the equation as far as being the cause for this virus or bacteria. Let's say it's the ice caps that have melted that cause us to get the next virus. I'm telling you that if indeed we have to use animals to try the vaccine on before giving it to humans, I'm okay with that. I will never put an animal's life e- equal to a human's life. It's not. And I find a flaw in that kind of thinking because the here's what I'd like to ask you. One, do you consider yourself religious? Not just Christian, but religious in any way? And two, do you consider yourself a feminist?
Oh yes.
Yes to both or one or
Yeah. Yeah. Yes to both. Yes.
okay, so here all right, so
Just to say, because one thing, yeah, is that you say you don't put human, animals, equality, and so forth. What about all the humans that are dying? For comfort, yeah, because if you think that you humans and are equal, which what you are supposed to think, right? So why is it that we live humans in Africa don't strain, huh? You can find famine and just like in Syria, in Yemen, and in everywhere in Africa. I mean, if you but all that we did is to give them maketi, to fuel the tribal murderous atmosphere, and whatever. So I understand. Let's say that. A human is the like in like you ask me about religion and about feminism and so forth, but is the core, but is something is for that you want to give something, if for you it's human, let's do it. How
okay,
come we leave our human brother die? Yeah. Is it because of a balance
because of greed.
that newly be
Exactly.
found?
It's because of greed. It's because of those in power.
Or such as having creature on your plate.
No,
This is to do
that's
with greed, and I
not
think
because
is
because
but
it's
is
proven that eating meat is healthier than having than a vegan diet, much healthier. In fact, you understand that there's an entire industry that's made up of man-made vitamins and synthetic creatine and things of that nature because you can no longer get it in your food because when you're a vegan, you don't get those things. So now you've created this entire industry of synthetic vitamins and minerals that have to be created that also pollute the environment
or
so that you
Kurt,
wait wait wait
you
wait
you
wait
are the one knowing about supplements more than I do, I guess. Yeah.
yes I do and that's my point is that I know that eating red meat is healthier for you. We have a population of men who have a third of the testosterone they had 40 years ago because they were conned into believing that this low fat diet was the way to go, and it has affected not just men but women to the point where there's chronic disease from everything from arthritis to mental depression because of this hormone imbalance because of the foods that we eat or don't eat. So this nonsense that veganism is healthy for you is just that. It's been debunked. The research has shown that it's not healthy for you. It's actually unhealthy for you. And even the vegan athletes that are so-called athletes out there, there's not one of them
So cool. Attends, the last one is Serena
okay,
Williams, no?
right. what I'm saying is there's not one of them out there who aren't
I
taking
mean,
performance
it's
enhancing
the
drugs.
most majestic of all. It happens that it's tennis because it's very much promoted and so forth. Me, tennis, I don't believe in them any longer because when you see Nadal
I believe my
and
health is more important, and I'm going.
10 years after, I think that's is a lack of competition that makes it. Yeah? But fine, if there's a majestic, just as a between brackets. But I think that tennis, why there is these people 10 years and 15 years after winning Grand Slam after Grand Slam, is I guess it's a lack of competition that makes, but whatever, maybe it's not. Huh? What I'm saying is one of the most majestic athletes in 2020 21 it's gonna be Serena Williams, isn't it?
It's going to be. I'm sorry. It's going to be what?
Serena Williams.
Oh, Serena Williams.
Yes,
Yeah,
she's a vegan.
yeah, and this is what I'm going to tell you. Every person who claims to have taken over the vegan diet didn't get where they're at today by being on the vegan diet. And I will also tell you this: athletes who are vegans who all of a sudden adopted this vegan diet, every one of them, every one of them are on some sort of enhancing drug, guaranteed. I guarantee it. And there's no way, because the vegan diet leaves out too many minerals, too many vitamins, too many nutrients, that it does that you have to take supplements in order for you to remain not even healthy, just alive. And so why you would eat like that is beyond me, because you believe that animals are equal to people, and I don't. And like I told you before, if
No, no, but it's not even a question of equality. To slaughter someone is not
it's not someone,
is to
it's
suffer
something.
a creature is not to say that oh you are the equal of me. No, it's just to steal the life out of some other creature. Yeah,
Yeah, and I
it's
with the
not about
respect,
equality. Yeah,
with the respect that comes with
though
that.
I agree that a soul is equal to a soul, but this is too, I guess, is too spiritual
Okay, so let me ask you this: you mentioned before, when we were talking before the show, that you believe that plants have feelings, that they have some sense of understanding. Is that correct?
yeah.
Okay, so you're
They are living. Yeah,
okay.
that's
They're
no
living.
news. Yeah,
They have some.
and they have what I just said. The problem is that I have very small time to read about this big, absolutely big subject. But as it happened, we all know it's known. Our grandparents, as soon as you get into connection with nature, you know about these things. But the thing is that it's only recently but it has been formally proven and quantified by science that, for example, trees communicate with between themselves. Like you've got trees that will experience danger, and when they experience danger, they will release some kind of something into the air, and their fellow trees will um, uh, will understand that the danger is there and then will adapt before the
Right.
danger touch them. Also, there's interfeeding, for example. Um, so a tree will help feeding mushroom or flowers of other types of tree and so forth. They are helping each other.
Right. Okay. So here's my
It's very complex, and
right. So here's my
yes, this
question.
is this.
So
Yeah.
you're willing to basically you're willing to kill a plant that you just admitted has feelings and has at least some sense of intelligence about it, and you're willing to kill
May
that.
you know, intelligence
Wait,
means
wait, wait,
nothing
wait, wait,
in
wait,
this
wait. Let me
context.
finish my no. It's that in this context, what I'm going to show you is that you've justified in your mind that it's okay to kill plants. It's okay, even though they may have feelings and they have some sense of intelligence. It's okay to kill them so that you can eat. So what you've done is you're saying that where I draw the line in the sand, that's too far. The line in the sand needs to be drawn here because you've dictated that's where it needs to be. And and again, that's an ideology that I don't, because it's not just an ideology to you, it's an ideology that you want to force upon others and through law or whatever means possible. And I don't, and I think that to me, that's no different than the zealot religious people in any religion who demand that you bow down to their god and worship their god because
No, no, no. It's not question of God
no,
at
it's a
all.
question of
It's question
ideology.
of a create of animal that is living and by suffering and that is intelligent and that is certainly intelligent like you and me who could never imagine because we are different creatures
Yeah,
and it's all that it is not a question of God. It is a question of respecting life.
I wasn't making it about God. What I said was
No, but
it's about the
is make
ideology.
about life, and life is what we share. Yeah, me and you and these animals is what
And
for
these
sure we are
plants
sharing.
and these plants have to die for
And these plants, but so there is the only thing is it is true is myself. Is and it's true. I told you that because I think it's a valid argument.
Mhm.
But people, when I say I'm a vegan, they say, "Hey, but yes, but you are killing plants," and I admit, and in fact, it's a bit complicated to admit it because the only conclusion you can draw out of it is that, in fact, the life as we live it is really cruel. Is maybe why there is religion is but maybe because it's too cruel for it to be dignified, and it's why we need to look higher at one point. Because yes, it is true that to fuel my own life, I've got I kind of having to feed myself. The line I'm drawing, and it's not a line in the sand, is that why in in-laws why I the difference between human, animals, and plants
Mhm.
is kind of the same difference, but why I cannot kill you to feed. And
That's
it's why it goes the
so
same interdiction is that a mammal
it comes down to
is as gonna have a mother the way I do. And I admit it is said like that, it is thin, but it's still
okay,
holding.
so what about birds that lay eggs? What about crabs? What
Yeah.
about shrimp? What about
So okay, so we would say me I don't eat fish, huh?
mhm.
So I would say like so there is families like that, yeah. In biology there's families. So we are belonging to primates, and I belonging to mammals, and then so I am zero in biology. But where you gonna do difference between cold-blooded and warm-blooded, and yeah, and all animals. So all animals, I know that can be perfectly best because you said that we can't be healthy as vegan. Boom, boom. No, that's not true.
It is
That is that
argument
there is many
research and studies
survey
have
and that specify that in fact vegetarian in many aspects we are clearly healthier. Okay,
no, that's
but in
wait, wait,
any
wait.
case,
I want
yes, it's
you know
true,
it's
Kurt.
not true
Yes,
because I
it's
can tell you
true.
right now, England did research on this, and they did it with tens of thousands. In fact, I might even it might have been even in the hundred thousands that they did research between vegans and those who weren't, and found that there was not one day longer of life expectancy or healthy type lifestyles between vegans and everybody else. That's a study that was done extensively.
Okay, so there's no difference then.
Okay, so to say that is, I'm not going to say you're disingenuous. I think you were misinformed because you believe you want
No,
to.
no, but he has been proved. No, Kurt, he has been proved. He
Okay,
has been proved
not
that is better for heart disease. Malnutrition is why it's one of the reason why I don't want to enter big.
right. I know
It's
because you.
because I know too little, but I still know the headlines of I've been a vegan for 10 years. I had been a vegetarian before that for years, for 5 more years, and so forth. And I kind of like my body. Yes, I like nutrition as such. Yeah.
Right. And you should be able to do that. That's my point. It's like you should be able to eat the way you believe is healthy for you. I may sit here and go,
No, 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 no.
wait, wait,
It is
wait, wait,
not
wait.
about. It's. I am not a vegan because of my but because of my health. But what I know, it has
Right.
been proved
That's
for heart condition, artery conditions,
no, it's been debunked because what they did was what vegans have done and who did these studies.
digestion.
No, what they did.
Like, for
If,
example, are you not worried about your kidneys because
if,
you certainly are you using supplements?
I'm telling no, I don't need supplements. I get the nutrition that I need from my food. And here's the thing is that what vegans or those who were pushing the vegan lifestyle did is they did a study and they said, "Oh, someone who eats at McDonald's is a meat eater." So
So,
they said, "Okay,
sorry,
wait,
so
wait,
you are
wait.
about
That be I told you, in order for this to work, I have
okay,
to be
okay.
able to speak as
Ah,
well as you.
well,
So what they did is they took this lifestyle and they said, "Oh, this person's unhealthy." But they didn't say the person was unhealthy because of anything except that he ate meat. He ate a hamburger. So they completely neglected the fact that he was drinking soda or drinking milkshakes or eating french fries or the apple turnover or putting the condiments like ketchup and stuff that's
mm.
full and laden with sugar. They completely negated that and just tried to blame it all on the meat. That's nonsense. And that's why this has been debunked. Because their studies were flawed because they took certain variables and left them out to get the results that they wanted. So
No,
when they
no, mais attends. There is how many survey has been done about this?
and I'm telling you the survey
Like now between vegetarian, maybe not veganism because veganism is something else. Yeah, because veganism, the problem with veganism is that one is less studied,
religion.
and all the food we've got to get unless you might spend a crazy amount of money
Right.
on food. It's because everything we eat we need to do it from scratch, and this is a big problem. Being it's an hard job to be a vegan, and also there is you need to be basically near a shop that does beans and lentils and herbs and different type of oils and different type of dals and so forth. Yeah, but between the surveys that have been done and study, very serious study. You must be joking.
No,
But all Indian people, there is millions of people in India that are vegetarian.
look, I'm going to tell you
We know
the
the
studies
how it's
that
good on earth, how it's okay on earth, on health. We know it.
they're not vegans.
Yeah, Kurt, you eat
And
meat.
you
You
eat
are you do you know what your ancestors were eating?
yes, I
The peasant and so forth. You were in history, yes. The
they were
people
hunter
who were
gatherers
eating meat
farmers
were
for the
kind
farm.
of the nobles. They were not the peasant. Like surely it was most of your
Right.
ancestry were, and all of the ancestry of everyone. Meats were it's a new commodity.
No, it's not.
Yes.
That's not true. People,
Right.
humans were hunter gatherers long before they ever started agriculture. That's how they survived. That's how the history of man
Well, by poaching
started
because you were
surviving.
not owning the land.
Yes, what we're talking about exactly history, and this is how in evolution, and that men or humans are omnivores for a reason. Okay, so but here's the thing: you don't even do it because of health reasons, because you've already said you would sacrifice your health if it meant saving an animal, and the animal didn't have to die. So the reason I asked you if you're a feminist, because I find it really hard. How can a feminist be a vegan? Because there's two things. One, a feminist believes a woman's body is a woman's body. So if you believe a woman's body is a woman's body, why isn't a man's body a man's body? If I want to eat meat, I should be able to eat meat.
No, no,
What
because you don't get, you don't, yeah, you always come back to to
okay,
yourself.
no,
And me, what I will have
keep
to get
interrupting me.
always back to is that it is not about your body, it's about the creature you
Okay,
are
so
killing.
let's talk
If you
about
want
right,
to eat, if you want to
me,
eat my mouse, no, because I respect the object
your
too much,
mouse.
and it
If
won't
it's
be
my
good for
mouse,
you. If you want to eat glass, you can eat glass. You know what I mean? No, because I think that I get compassionate, and I would say, Kurt, let's stop eating anything. Yes,
okay,
you
so
know what I mean.
feminists have abortions, that's okay then. Killing another
No,
human.
but anyhow, you are starting about talking
No,
about
because you're
feminist.
talking.
This doesn't mean this doesn't mean a thing. It's like I would say almost. It's like
How
I would.
can you
Oh,
say,
are you American? So, Kurt,
wait, the whole
what?
feminist movement was behind the fact that a woman's body was a woman's body and she could do whatever she wanted. And abortion was one of the main things that were pushed for this feminist movement. So to proclaim like, oh, I'm a feminist, but I don't believe in abortion, that's not what feminism was about. It was about a woman being able to control her body without the government or anyone else telling her what she can and can't do.
No, but
It's
it's not because
okay
you are a
to
feminist that
abortion,
you can kill animals the way you
but you can
like.
kill babies. You can't kill animals, but you can kill.
No, but I'm telling you,
You see the hypocrisy.
you know what? In fact, I would say that maybe I am wrong to say to designate myself as a feminist,
Okay,
because I think that,
so
to
you
be
don't believe
honest,
in abortion.
the if it's maybe it's pompous, maybe it would be pompous
Okay,
for me to self determine myself as feminist. So let's just to say, because you are on abortion, there is something about abortion that I would say I am against abortion as a as a
you believe right,
contraception mean.
right, but you
As a contraception means
okay,
this shouldn't be happening,
okay,
but abortion happens or in many other circumstances, and
okay.
certainly
You're not
by the
talking about
people,
other than
whatever.
deliberate
That's another.
abortion. Wait. I need to get this. I want to make sure that people are clear and that you're clear. So you're against abortion, but you do believe a woman has the right to
No,
do.
no, I never said I was against abortion.
So you're not against it.
Oh, no, I'm
All
not
right,
against
so
abortion. No,
please
no.
clarify. Are you against abortion or are you for abortion? Like, do you believe a woman can have abortion if she wants to?
Uh, is just what I say, is to make it short. Yes, is that I am, because you said,
Hmm.
yeah, but a woman owns her body, and so she can kill babies. Yes, it's what you said. Yes.
Right.
So what I'm saying, so what I'm replying to you is that I'm against abortion
Hmm.
as a mean of contraception.
Okay.
That is to say, there is people, yes, and certainly people that don't know about it, but were disconnected about that, but are too young, but doing that out of culture. There's a lot of young women, when you are young and you are not documented, and that depending of the culture, that end up having babies that we never ever plan to have. And it's where the abortion thing is a very very big matter, because there is people that will be able to profiteer about ignorance to make sure that they ruin the life of women. That is to say, to make sure they get pregnant and ruin.
How do they
Yes,
make
yes.
sure they get
No, what I'm saying. No, but it's very. Sorry.
how do they make sure they get pregnant?
Well, by early pregnancy. Well,
But
make
who's forcing them to get pregnant? See,
no,
you're
no,
placing
no.
the blame
What I'm saying is that it's unwanted pregnancy. Yes, it's not a little affair to have a kids. Okay, are you well, even you are father, you are not father, because
I
there
am
is so many parents that don't look after their kids, but anyhow, whatever they are or they are not, there's no much weight on their life
we're getting
for
away
that
from the
matter.
issue. And the
What I'm
issue
saying, that what I was just answering, that you said
well, we need
you are a
to do it in a
feminist, so
direct
you
way.
believe women can kill babies. Yes, it's what you said in a nutshell.
I'm saying, do you believe in abortion or not? It's a yes or no question.
No, no, it's not a yes or
It
no
is.
question.
It absolutely is. I can answer it in a yes or no.
Yeah, I am for abortion. Yes.
Okay, so you believe it's okay to kill babies, but
No, no, it's not okay to give. No, mais
but you
attends, attends.
just said
Wait, wait, wait.
you just said
The abortion is not killing babies.
it is
Okay,
killing
it's
babies.
terminated the pregnancy. This is not killing babies. Yeah.
It's killing babies because it's a baby, and there's no you can't get around that. After a certain point, it is a baby. And here's the thing: if you believe a woman's body is a woman's body and she can do what she wants,
No,
then
no, no, no.
wait,
It's I no, mais Kurt, I've said many times that it is not what I believed. Yes. So
okay,
if you say to me many times over, yes, it is what I believe, I've got to say every single time, no,
so you,
sorry, because it's really not what I
all right,
believe. Yeah.
but you may say in your head that you don't believe it, but you're okay with it. You allow it. In other words, you
No, what I'm saying, what I said, yes, is that there is people who use
I
abortion
get that. I
as a day after pill, basically.
right. That's
Huh?
and that's not abortion. I don't consider that abortion. But when the baby's formed, when it has a heartbeat, when it starts showing that it's got some sort of intelligence to it, you can still abort that baby. In fact, if we believe, if what we say is that a woman's body is a woman's body, that means it's always her body. So if she wanted to abort that baby the day before pregnancy, if we believe that, she should be allowed to do it according to what people say about women being able to have her body be her body. And if you're okay, and again, it may not be your belief, but if you are going to allow that to happen, and yet you're outraged about the fact that people eat meat, there's a hypocrisy there that can't be ignored.
No, 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 no.
Because I can
It's
tell
no
you right now,
hypocrisy.
I am
You
against
know, you know, you know. There.
finish and then I'll let you talk. I'm against abortion. Okay. I don't like abortion. I'm against it. However, being against abortion does not mean that I think just because I'm against it, that my right or my opinion somehow is more important than that woman's body and her right to do what she wants with her body. So while I may not agree with abortion, I also agree that she should be able to do what she wants, and the consequences fall on her. That's where it should lie. If I want to eat meat, the consequences lie on me. So if you're
No,
okay,
it doesn't lie on you. It lies on the creature you killed.
no more than
It's not about
no
you.
more than the
It's not about
consequences.
you.
Wait, no more than the consequences lie on the woman who killed the baby.
It
It's
would be about you. It would be about you if there were sanction adapted, and then yes,
not
it would have
assumption
to
that
be
when the
about you.
baby's born, that when a baby's inside the stomach, that it is a human, that it is a baby, it is alive. It is nothing. It is not an embryo. It is a baby, and and people who have abortions are able to kill those babies. And what I'm saying is, if you're not outraged by that and you think that should be allowed, but you're outraged about people eating animals, I'm sorry, but human life, I'm always going to be pro human, and human life is always going to have more value than animals. Like I told you before, if my house was on fire and my children were in the house and my cat
Mais,
and dog were in the house, I'm
mm,
getting my children out and I will get the cat and dog out last if I can. But I will never put, no matter how much I love my animals, I will never put them above my children, or any human for that matter. It could be someone I don't even know, and I'm going to get that human out first before I go after the animals, because I believe that human life is more valuable than animal life, and it's okay if you or other people don't believe in that, but I'm not trying to force my opinion on you.
there's many
On the other
places you
hand,
could
try to
you could
force it
run
on
to.
us. I just don't believe you should try to force your opinion on others because you believe a certain way. Because again, that's no different than religious people who try to force their God on people because they're so sure that their God is the true God that if you don't abide by their religious views and worship their God, they're willing to kill you over it. Veganism is nothing different than that, other than the fact that they can't kill you. But I think some of them probably would try if they had the opportunity to,
But
because
the thing is that if you are able to kill a little lamb and that is so amusing to
I could
you
kill a little lamb.
because you
Yeah,
can tuggling in your plate, you can kill something else,
yeah.
and this something
I
else
can kill
can be
a little lamb.
human for sure.
I can't kill a little baby. I could kill a little lamb and eat it. You're right. I could. I wouldn't.
Well, maybe you think you are further from killing
I know I am.
from uh, me. What I would
Oh,
question here
yeah.
is how much far the useless killing of a baby lamb or of a sheep
Useless.
or whatever, yeah. uh, uh, you are establishing big borders and big difference and so forth.
Because
And
they're
I'm saying that maybe the delusion here is that it is much more close than you seem to think.
No, it's not, and I can show you how. Ask any soldier who's ever gone out hunting and killed animals to eat, and then had to go to war and kill another human being, and you will find that it doesn't even come close to being the same thing. It is far wider than you want to believe because that's your
Yeah,
belief.
but it's still people that kills other people for a living. Yeah.
Yes, but those people are rare. We have serial killers, but are we supposed to say, oh, okay, so we
And because you think that every military who killed someone killed rightly so, they
no,
killed the
I'm telling
serial
you,
killers
even when
for
they
sure.
even when they kill and they believe that they're doing it for the right reasons, it still has effects on them that are devastating and haunt them for the rest of their lives.
Well, not all militaries for
You're
what
Now you're
they.
making excuses. What I'm telling you is that there's a much bigger gap between killing a cow to eat steak and killing a human being, and that it would affect most people. Not all, because we have some psychopaths out there, but the majority of people out there, it would affect greatly.
Yes, but you eat your meat daily. I mean,
I
there is something that like habituation.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. I do eat just like you eat plants every day. You don't have guilt over eating and killing plants. I don't have guilt over eating and killing meat.
I
I
have,
don't. I it, and
I have, but
I because
there's a religion in France. It's old religion. No? It's from Christianity and so forth. Yes, and they had kind of thinking about what is God and what is leading the world and so forth. And they called themselves perfect. But when you call yourself perfect, is that you stop eating. You stop eating, you stop drinking, and then it's what you wear. Yeah,
and then you're
it's the
perfectly good.
Kafar religion in France,
Yeah,
Qatar. I
I'm
don't
not
know.
perfect, and I'm never going to attempt to be perfect if that's it. If
Mm.
it's me starving to death or an animal dying or a plant dying, then that's what's going to happen. I'm
No, but is the point of view they had on
what's
the
that?
mind. It's the point of view they had on the mind, on what experience we had on Earth. because you are talking about religion. So
just like we procreate, we're here to make sure that our species carries on. And I'm going, and
well,
that's the number one, the number one job of every species is to make sure that it continues on. And as
in
we
making
procreate,
sure you are killing unduly other species won't
if
work.
I have to kill animals to eat and get the best nutrition, yes, that's exactly what it means.
No, but you know that I would like to been able to debunk it at least a little bit
Well,
in knowing about nutrition. But to
you
be
know what?
honest, I would suggest that you read just a little bit about vegetarian
I
nutrition,
have,
and you would
I,
see that is much more
I actually,
qualitative than you seems to
and here's the thing.
suggest.
I actually had considered it at some point because I don't take again. I didn't just dismiss veganism because I go, oh, that sounds like uh, Huey or whatever. I really looked into it, and I looked into it to great detail, and that's how I came about to find that all the things that they had been claiming had been debunked because they were being disingenuous with the narrative. They were not telling the whole truth. They were telling some truths, and there's something to be said about a vegan diet, but they weren't telling the whole truth. And whenever someone has to withhold truth or lie about,
But how can you come up
people
with
have
such
arguments.
conclusions for?
I'm sorry.
As I told you, the vegetarian diet is like the common way for millions of people in
And that's
India. Yeah.
fine. And there's millions more who eat meat. That's the thing. It's like
Yeah,
you're
but
not
what I mean is that it is not a secrecy. It is not a new diet. It is not a new thing like completely out of first month trial. It is absolutely not that. It has been culturally is from antiquity that vegetarianism is a thing. Yes, it's like a big, massive, well,
I
cultural and.
I'm
Uh,
all for them. They can be vegans all they want. What I'm saying is you live your life, be a vegan and be happy with it. I'm going to eat meat. Leave me alone and let me eat my meat. It's that simple. It's no more difficult than that. And while I know you believe that it's beyond just me, that it has to do with that
It's not my belief, it's reality,
there's
Kurt.
no
This is not meat. Originally, it's not meat. Originally, it's an animal like you and me, breathing, bleeding, thinking, believing, communicating.
fighting
It's all of this. Yeah, meat is not my belief that it is something over.
if I eat grouper, if I eat shrimp, I eat crab, that's not bleeding. It's not, and the thinking is minimal at most. If I eat snails, any of those things that
Oh,
are,
how do you know? How would you know? How you got to know that this thinking is this is nonsense?
well,
You know
they
that is one of the human nonsense that does nothing for a
I,
species. Yeah.
because it doesn't matter if they think or not. I'm going to eat them. Just like I don't care.
Right.
I
Okay. That is
don't
more psychopathic.
like, so
This way
here's,
of saying
no,
it.
it's not.
Like
People are
we enter more. Of,
and you
it
say,
doesn't matter. It
wait,
thinks. It bleeds. It doesn't matter. It's for you to take and think
no more
upon it.
psychopath
Then I've got the truth out of you now.
reiterating the same point over and over. It's no more psychopathic than you eating a plant and justifying that we don't know at what level of intelligence a plant has or what they're feeling.
Yes, because
Psychopathic than that.
I wouldn't eat children. You see.
Neither would I. You see, you see to equate.
Well,
Wait, because you just did something that I just can't believe someone like you would do. You just tried to equate eating meat with eating children. That is no different than people who tried to equate
no,
gay
because
people with
yes,
pedophiles.
because plants,
Oh,
because
stop, because that's what you just did. When people sit there and they equate gay people to pedophiles, that's what you just did. You equated meat eaters to child eaters. That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard as an argument. You cannot equate those two together because no one who sits there and eats meat on a regular basis has ever thought about eating a child even
may,
once.
but
Ever.
you know, maybe you don't know animals. You've got a cat. I know you've
I know
got a
I
cat,
I
but maybe
I
you
don't,
don't
I was
know
raised
animals.
around them. How would I not know animals? We raised a pig, and
Mind you don't eat a cat. You don't eat your cat.
I
So
don't
it's a proof
I
of
because it's a
something, yeah,
pet. But
maybe.
if I was starving to death, I would eat cats, I would eat rats, I'd eat squirrels, I'd eat
And
whatever.
you will eat human as well. You
If
know,
you know what? If
people turn
I was
very often cannibal when famine
survival,
hits.
you're absolutely right. It's human. It's basic human. Um,
Enfin, you may.
if it came down to cannibalism, we've seen tribes that eat other humans if that's what's necessary. And don't think that if it comes to that point
No, I think
that
as
food becomes rare,
it's
I'll watch
if,
vegans eat humans because
in
they
history it has been proven that he has been more of a ritual thing than a necessity. He has been both, huh? But
so
very ritualistic.
if we have this apocalypse where plants are no longer able to grow because of the air, the wind, or whatever, and plants can't grow, are you going to start eating animals? Would you even eat humans if it came down to it? Would you survive, or would you just let yourself die?
You know what? This is a question. I'd say it's a legitimate question, or I mean, it's a question, right? But I don't have. Uh, I, I wouldn't say that I know myself at all.
Right.
Because
Okay,
it's
that's
this
fair.
kind of condition, it's completely alien to me,
Right.
and also me, I think means no means sometimes also me or you means nothing, because we are we know just about our very limited life with our very limited
Right.
culture and our very limited instinct and so forth, and where we do is not
That's a point.
maybe doesn't mean the word
That's
basically.
a point well taken, and I agree with you. And so I appreciate your honest answer. I do. So let's do this because I know this is a topic that we could stay on forever, but we'll never get to the other two threats to human rights if we do. So let's move on to the second threat to human rights that you find to be the second most important threat to human rights.
Just a question,
Huh?
because it's been 2 hours already.
Right.
How do you feel we meet sometimes later and discuss these different?
Okay.
Because if we start me on human trafficking uh, with
Right. I get. Yeah.
not even a debate, I can go on 1 hour and a half or something like that. Very strict minimum. So
Right. I agree with you. And I think that because of the other two things that are coming up, I think that we need to be able to give it its due time and not
right,
rush through it. So yes, we'll do that. So let's
yeah, cool.
we'll do this in three parts actually, because I have a feeling when we get on number two, that's going to need
Yeah, it's gonna be the same.
a
Yeah.
All right, very good. All right, so folks, we're going to do this in three segments. So just keep an eye out. If you like this segment, I can assure you you're going to like the next two as well. So, Setvi, thank you so much for joining me today. We'll
Thank you,
get
Carl.
that second segment up and running here pretty soon. And folks, thanks for joining us. And until next time, stay safe, take care, and wear your mask.